Hey, hello everyone, French Vinyl Addict on another video, this time is another tag or thread challenge, This one brought by Richard S. And Richard S. Recently started his own channel, VC channel. He's been following very diligently all of our streams, videos, the one I did host on my channel, Alex Beer and Vinyl, his streams, Steve, Rob, Northern Revolution, and so many others. So good to have you on board, Richard S. He decided to talk about his passion for music collection as well. And the very first, not the first, the second video he dropped on his channel. Great idea, by the way, but not an easy one, I have to say. A thread about 5 records that would define our music collection. And not an easy one, Richard, but a good one. And I'm hopping on that thread as well. I probably have less than 1,000 records in my collection, so didn't hit the 1K mark yet, but I will probably do when I will be back from Den Bosch, because I fly to Den Bosch. Just book my ticket, so it would be great, by the way, to see maybe, I know some people who watches my channel, Europe, Germany based, or France, or people from North America. Maybe you will make the trip to Den Bosch. So it would be great to meet you up with you guys. And so not an easy one, as I said. When you have like nearly 1,000 records in your collection, what 5 copies could sum up or gives a lowdown or an overview, about your collection. So not an easy one. I decided to take 5 copies for certain reason, and without further ado, I will start off with the first one, which is this one, which is this copy. And the reason why I decided to talk about this one particularly. My father bought when he was young that very one copy, Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here, upon its release, and I saw it many times in many stores, a UK press, or a much more better copy than this one. But I don't need other copies than the one I grew up with. The very first record I heard when I was a kid, when he played, I remember the first time he played that song, that Wish You, that opening track, Shine on the Crazy Diamond, on side 1. I was simply, I was a little bit curious. Was very much into Beatles, Led Zeppelin stuff, and to me was a real first contact with the progressive music, so to say. I was 40 years old, and I remember I taped that song, and I could listen to that song whenever I was going to my junior high school bike. So very important copy to me, as I said. And there is also another reason why I decided to pick up this one for today's thread. I do have lots of records previously owned by my father and my grandparents in my collection. So I'm very proud to have these copies. Lots of family, they decided to get rid of their LPs, vinyl, early 2000, because they wanted to buy the very same collection on CD. And luckily my family kept over the years the entire collection. So my father kept his entire collection. My grandparents, they kept their entire collection. So I'm happy now. I have all this vinyl behind myself that I shipped over. Back in the days when I was still living in France, I received those, and I shipped those to Canada over here. So I'm very glad to have a good portion of my collection previously family jewels, family stuff. So this is the first one, the Pink Floyd. Now another band, this one so important as well. Is that classic rock? Is that folk? This is the classic album, the first debut album, 1969. You know that story. They were invited at Mama Cass garden party, or backyard party, as we say over here. And yeah, finally decided to to start a band, band project. Played in a small bar as a first gig, and the second gig was not less than Woodstock, performing at Woodstock. Yeah, very important album. There is only those play like a greatest hit, like a timeless greatest hit to me. There is nothing to throw away on that one. And you know, I'm not a hardcore fan of country, or I don't have a lot of knowledge when it comes to, you know, American music from the 50s and the 60s. But starting with this album, and you know, and now I'm a little bit more curious, you know, to dig into like some country, or I love Gene Clark, for instance, Neil Young, and I think this one could maybe could be easily be the one to sum up why I do like this kind of music, and why I'm keen to explore a little bit more and like to build up my collection. I recently discovered the Beau Brummels, for instance, and it's all related, you know, with this kind of, to me, this kind of music era. So first album by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Next one, you're on the French Metals Addict channel, and we know how much I love progressive music. So yeah, I had to choose one of the most iconic album I still like. It's so hard because I listen to lots of different subgenre progressive music. You know, the classic symphonic, the Canterbury scene. I listen to a lot of different, you know, non-UK, non-Italian bands, for instance. Even in Spain, I discovered great bands from Spain. Triana, just to name. And you know, it's pretty hard to pick up only one prog album, because I do like very much that genres and all those bands that emerged in the early 70s, and they helped to define what now we call that classic type symphonic era of progressive music. And as we discussed lots of time on the prog stream with Steve. But yeah, I decided to go with this one simply because Surface Ready, you know, my all-time favorite song when it comes to progressive rock. Peter Gabriel's voice contribution back then. Surface Ready almost covers almost the entire side 2. On this one, I found a copy of this one in the UK when I was in Canterbury. So it's not a Canterbury scene, but I bought this very same copy in Canterbury, believe it or not, and 2 years ago. And yeah, it's we can say so much things about this one, how important it was. You know, Watcher of the Skies opens that one, and you know, opens Watcher of the Skies. It's interesting. They wrote Watcher of the Skies when they were touring in Italy, because prog rock was so important in Italy, like having Van der Graaf Generator bands topping the charts, topping the bill, and they were simply amazed. So they thought, hey, we are not like real human beings having so much success in Italy. This is why they wrote Watcher of the Skies, which opens side 1, and yeah, you know, Surface Ready. It's simply beautiful. So yeah, I had to grab a prog album for today's thread. So I decided to go with this one. So this is Genesis, and this is Foxtrot. The next one. We are still in the UK, and we are in the late 60s. The Zombies. Yeah. A very important band as well, and why I decided to take this one particularly, because it's a proto-prog. Recorded this album exactly in the same place, you know, where Sgt. Pepper was recorded. Didn't have a lot of, not success, but maybe not support, and disbanded by the time this album was released. And it's weird. The reason why this band, or especially the last track, Time of the Season, is known. In the US, it came much more after, and in the US they released a compilation with you know, they wanted to promote the artists of this label. And yeah, they put Time of the Season on this album, and it was like a massive success. But the band has also already been disbanded in the UK, which is a pity. So, and yeah, it's one of my favorite albums of all time. the Zombies. I really do like, British bands. What must be must have been amazed to live through these years, especially in London, Carnaby Street, feeling, 1969. So yeah, it must have been a tremendous time to live through there, especially in London, 1965 up until 1972, something, all the genres that emerged, the British blues boom, that feeling they had, the psychedelic bands, prog, and so I really like lots of different bands from that era, like the Who, I often mentioned, Pretty Things, SF Sorrow, which was a very important as well. I could have go with that one as well, by the way. And I do have a decent section of, of late 60s British bands or artists like, Donovan, so many underrated bands from that era. So yeah, this is the one I decided to go with. So the Zombies, Odyssey, and Oracle. And yeah, last but not least, we are still in the UK. We are like 15, 18 years afterwards. Zombies. We are in the 80s, and synth pop, new wave. I do not often talk about new wave or similar stuffs in my channel, though I really, it's simply an era that I really like. The early 80s in the UK. I will never be tired of watching this amazing footage, early 80s, Top of the Pops, all these bands, they were playing live at this iconic show in the UK. And I know it's much more complex than that, but probably, they were two major acts, late 70s, that were so big as a massive source of inspiration. You have Kraftwerk on that hand. People or bands like Depeche Mode, OMD, inspired by Kraftwerk, and Joy Division, of course. And of course, this is New Order. So you know that story, and it's what happened back then. In the early 80s in the UK. Once again, big fan of the UK British music, obviously, and this one is probably not my favorite album, but I do have a soft spot for 586. Blue Monday is not on that one. This is the iconic single that was sold like millions, or not like millions, but they sold like a lot. And New Order, this is a French press I got. Power, Lies, and Corruption, 83. I have so many, and I try, because I used to have on tape, on cassette, or on CD, lots of greatest hit bands, and I don't have a huge collection when it comes to early 80s. The Mute label, Factory label, all the incredible bands. And luckily now, because thanks to the VC, I can find, or I discover new acts I completely forgotten about, like the Teardrop Explodes. I lately went into that, because thanks to Fred, or other bands from that era, and it's like a never-ending story. I keep on discovering lots of underrated band from the early 80s, synth pop, new wave sound. So this is the one I'm going with. So so please watch Richard's S channel. I will put a link in the description. So to help to grow this channel, it's a really good idea, by the way, Richard. Hope you like it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next chapter. Bye-bye.